Hello, this is Dr. Lori Ernstberger, and welcome to Behavioral Training Resource Center. Today's topic is how can we decrease the gender disparity between males and females on the autism spectrum? In 2007, I wrote a book called Girls Under the Umbrella of ASD. And since that time that book was published, we have learned a great deal of information about girls and women on the spectrum and the lives they live, some of their needs and their journey. But one question that has not been answered specifically is why do we have the disparity between males and females? You've probably seen the ratio 4-to-1, and for some areas it goes up to 10-to-1 males to females. What can account for this gender disparity? Well, the scientists and researchers have discovered three preliminary factors that may explain why we have that gap. The first reason is genetics. It appears that females on the spectrum have a little extra protection when it comes to having that extra X chromosome. So that female protective factor does exist and may explain why girls need more genetic material to have a diagnosis of ASD than males on the spectrum. Now, I've been following the work out of the Autism Science Foundation, and I encourage you to go to their website. They're doing now what's called the Autism Sisters Project, where you can find out more about these genetic factors. Now, the second reason isn't so much about genetics or nature, it's really about nurture. You may have heard of that old rhyme, girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice, right? Yeah, girls are reinforced for being nice. Girls are reinforced when they get along and play well together. And that's why what we often hear from females on the spectrum is they're very good at masking their symptoms. So they can camouflage in social situations what would be the autism criteria. And so that masking or camouflaging behavior is then reinforced. So if they're being nice, if they're being quiet or more passive, those behaviors are reinforced. And what we know is behaviors are learned over time. So some of that might be a factor to explain the gender disparity, males to females. And the third and final reason is diagnostic tools. What we know is the current diagnostic tools for ASD are biased. They are written with the male prototype in mind. So the questions on the surveys or on the assessment tool is written based on those male characteristics of ASD. And what we hear over and over again from girls and women on the spectrum is those questions don't apply to them. And so they are biased more towards males. That's why researchers and clinicians like Dr. Tony Atwood are currently creating specific assessment tools for females. And it's not about just getting the diagnosis, it's making sure that every girl and female on the autism spectrum gets the education, services, and supports that they need so that they can have a quality of life, live independently, and work in the field that they're of their choosing. Now, I like to follow on Facebook. One of my favorite, if you're on Facebook, favorite to follow is called the Yellow Ladybugs. You can see them online and they will talk on their Facebook page about the journey of girls and females on the spectrum. So if you want to learn more about this topic, I encourage you to go to their website. They're a group out of Australia and they're really doing amazing things. So to learn about this topic and so much more, please go to Behavioral Training Resource Center and check out our library of courses. Thanks. I appreciate your time today.